The Cult of We book by Eliot and Maureen Farrell provides a detailed account of the rise and fall of WeWork, the world's most valued startup, which came crashing down just a few years after reaching its peak. The book is authored by the same reporters who first exposed the company's disastrous downfall in 2019. Through a journalistic and financial lens, the book unravels the story of WeWork's trajectory, shedding light on how some of the most prominent investors in the world were blinded to the company's risks for almost a decade. It showcases how WeWork, a company once valued at $47 billion, turned out to be nothing more than a glorified real estate company that was losing more than $1.6 billion a year. The book explores the factors that led to WeWork's astounding rise and fall, such as how the company's hard-partying CEO, Adam Newman, managed to get away with reckless practices for so long. It also delves into why it took so long for the company to go public and how the startup culture of the 2010s contributed to reckless investment into WeWork. Reading The Cult of We book will provide you with a comprehensive understanding of how WeWork, a billion-dollar startup, managed to lure in the world's top investors and how the company's eventual collapse exposed the flaws in the startup industry. You will learn about the pitfalls of reckless investment, the importance of due diligence, and the impact of unchecked leadership. Idea 1. The story of WeWork's creation is a testament to the power of a good idea and effective pitching. In 2006, architect Miguel McKelvey met Adam Newman, a charismatic businessman, at a rooftop party in New York City. Despite their different backgrounds, the two men hit it off and soon began discussing business ideas. Newman's vision was to provide fully equipped office space to technology companies, with a focus on flexibility and maximizing profit. McKelvey was immediately intrigued by the concept and worked with Newman to pitch the idea to their landlords at 68 J Street, who quickly became partners in the venture. Their first venture, Green Desk, was a success, but Newman and McKelvey had even bigger plans. They sold their stakes in Green Desk for $500,000 each and began searching for new investors to expand their concept. Real estate developer Joel Schreiber was willing to invest $15 million in the company in exchange for a one-third stake, despite the fact that WeWork didn't yet have a single customer. This investment, which valued WeWork at $45 million, was a significant amount of money for Newman and McKelvey, and it allowed them to further expand their business. The success of their pitch to Schreiber demonstrates the power of a compelling idea and effective pitching skills. The story of WeWork's creation serves as a valuable lesson to aspiring entrepreneurs about the importance of persistence, creativity, and effective communication skills in securing funding and building a successful business. Idea 2. In the early days of WeWork, the company hosted events for its predominantly tech startup clients. These startups were often financed by venture capitalists, who provided crucial early funding to companies before they even turned a profit. As WeWork grew, its co-founder Adam Newman began to present the company as a tech startup, using the slogan, "Space as a Service," to reframe its real estate business model in terms of the emerging software as a service business model. In addition to this reframing, Newman and his co-founder Miguel McKelvey emphasized the blurring of work and play in the modern office environment. They pointed to tech giants like Google, which offered employees free food and in-house gyms, and promised to bring that same experience to urban millennials everywhere. They also pitched WeWork as a community-building platform, a physical Facebook, where office spaces would foster close-knit relationships between members. Newman's presentations projected an impressive increase in revenue, from $73 million in 2014 to $2.8 billion in 2018, which convinced investors to pour hundreds of millions of dollars into the company. By 2015, WeWork had attracted $400 million in investment and was valued at $10 billion by the venture capitalist firm Benchmark. By presenting WeWork as a tech startup, Newman and McKelvey were able to achieve a much higher valuation for their company than if they had stuck to the traditional real estate model. This strategy paid off in the short term, but ultimately led to WeWork's downfall when investors began to scrutinize the company's financials and found that its growth projections were overly optimistic. Idea 3. After WeWork expanded rapidly across continents, SoftBank invested billions of dollars in the company. However, WeWork was still losing vast amounts of money each day. Newman, who was now in complete control of the company, continued to ignore profit margins and focused on growth. He believed that rapid expansion would impress investors and enable him to achieve his goal of doubling WeWork's revenue every year. When Newman presented his triangle plan to Masayoshi Son, founder and CEO of SoftBank, the latter was impressed and invested $10 billion in the company. SoftBank also announced its intention to buy out WeWork's existing investors for an additional $10 billion. Despite this massive injection of funds, WeWork was still not profitable. Newman's recklessness and obsession with growth ultimately contributed to WeWork's downfall. The company's valuation plummeted, leading to layoffs and a significant loss of investor confidence. Idea 4. WeWork, a company that transformed the way people thought about office space, expanded rapidly and lost sight of its core business. In 2015, employees were asked to participate in staged events to showcase Adam Neumann's next big idea, a residential living experiment called We Live. Despite being slow to expand and not as successful as WeWork, Newman remained restless and rebranded WeWork as the We Company, which included ventures such as We Live and WeGrow. WeGrow, an elementary school that aimed to raise conscious global citizens, was led by Newman's wife and added a new age tone to the company's branding. Newman also used SoftBank's investment money to buy other companies and make unrelated investments, such as funding his friend Ashton Kutcher's venture capital fund. Despite mounting confusion and concerns from staff, Newman remained in control of the company and continued to spend lavishly, including a $63.4 million private jet purchase. In less than 2 years, WeWork had spent $3 billion of SoftBank's investment money and was still not profitable. Idea 5. In 2019, WeWork was preparing to go public after SoftBank withdrew its offer. WeWork's founder, Adam Neumann, had envisioned a grandiose plan for the company's future, including selling software, food, and even providing housing and education for staff's children. However, SoftBank's $100 billion vision fund, partly provided by the Saudi government, grew wary of Newman's erratic vision and called off the deal. With no one left to throw billions of dollars at the company, WeWork had no choice but to go public, much to the relief of employees who had been promised stock options. This turn of events marked a stark contrast to WeWork's early days, where the company had unlimited access to SoftBank's funding and could stay private to avoid public scrutiny. Idea 6. Adam Neumann, the founder of WeWork, faced mounting concerns from both employees and investors over his personal behavior and greed. Despite huge losses at the company, Newman's net worth grew to $10 billion in 2019, as he continued to strike lucrative deals for himself while becoming increasingly disconnected from his employees. He was known for partying hard on private jets with a large entourage of aides, including a hairdresser and a surf instructor. As WeWork prepared to go public, Newman demanded even more control, insisting on a 20-to-1 voting power over other shareholders. However, the company's IPO prospectus revealed several potentially damaging details about his profiteering, including restructuring the company for his tax benefit and selling the trademark, We, to WeWork for $5.9 million. On the morning of August 19, 2019, the financial documents were published, revealing the company's staggering $11 billion in losses and Newman's voting power. The market investors didn't value WeWork at the $47 billion valuation that Newman had sought, and the company was ultimately seen as worth only $15 minus $20 billion. Newman stepped down 2 days later, but not before securing a $1 billion severance package. His hard-partying lifestyle and personal greed had overshadowed his leadership at WeWork, leaving many to question his judgment and integrity. Summary: WeWork, the co-working office space provider, was founded in 2010 by Adam Neumann and Miguel McKelvey. As the business gained popularity, Newman leveraged tech-inspired branding and salesmanship to attract bold investors, leading WeWork to become the most valuable startup in the US by 2019. However, his obsession with growth caused him to overlook the importance of profits, ultimately leading to the company's downfall later that year. Newman's hard-partying lifestyle, personal greed, and desire for control over the company further contributed to WeWork's decline, and the company was ultimately forced to go public after SoftBank withdrew its deal. Despite Newman's promise of a $1 billion severance package, he stepped down from his position as CEO of WeWork. Now, thank you for taking the time to watch, and if you found value in this video, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel for more great content. Trust me, you won't regret it.